Good day, viewers. You're welcome to Big League Soccer, your usual and favorite football talk show on YouTube. My name is Neo Kwade, and with me on the show today, I have Julius Ojiagbase.
It's good to be back on the show, Ni.
Welcome. And to my far right, I have Babatunde Alao.
It's a pleasure to be here once again.
Welcome. With my two analysts in the studio, we'll be looking at football and generally football on the home front and international front. But firstly, we are going to start with football on the home front. And the first issue here is that of the NFF Executive Committee. They met today, and the news information filtering in says Aminu Maigari has been impeached as the NFF president. This was expected, but this has happened. I don't know what your reaction is to this, Julius.
Well, my reaction straightforward is that the seat is vacant and somebody have to occupy. So if he has been impeached based on allegations or whatever they've,
Yeah, they said a 15-count charge against him, and Mr. Mike Okeke is in temporary charge at the moment. And they said the 15-count charge in misappropriation of funds and all sorts, as it usually happens.
Yes,
to all.
well, it's not new story when we talk about misappropriation of funds. It's something that's always been, that will be. So, but what I want us to do, if the seat is vacant, we need to fill that seat back so Nigeria football can continue. I don't want the politics of the glass to hinder our preparation, because Nigeria will be preparing for Nation Cup very soon, and there's other competition we are involved in, the youth tournament and the female. So we really need to do what we have to do in that regard. To occupy the seat that is vacant, the glass house.
Well, actually, looking at the NFF presidency, as far as I'm concerned, I actually like the tenure of Aminu Maigari. He really did well for me. But I don't know what your view is, if you think Maigari should have been allowed to stay, because he's been impeached now and we'll have another president and we'll start again, this, that. Do you think Aminu Maigari should have been retained?
There's a lot of political undertone, and if you look at what has been happening since after the World Cup, I mean, it's like the government is meant to kick Maigari out of the seats, and we initially incurred a ban, and before the court ruling was suspended, and now that
based on the threat from FIFA.
Exactly. So, and now that the Congress has met again to impeach him or whatever, so I think it's like you just don't like his face there. Rightly, you have said that he has done very well as an NFL president. In his tenure, we won the Nations Cup. We go back to the World Cup and got to the second round. Our teams in the
Golden Neglect, we got the cup.
They did well. So if you want to look at it from that angle, he has done well. But concerning the allegation that has been leveled against him, so we still have to wait to see if those allegations will be truly verified, and because the information is just that it has been, we have to wait to see what follows up. But after that, I think let's just wait and see for now.
All right, let's move on from there. Let's hope the new president that will be coming in will be someone who will do something that Aminu Maigari has done and will probably go a step further. There's this issue we have not looked at on this show, and that's the financial issue during the World Cup. And looking at Keshi's role during the time the players decided to down tools, and I'm thinking Stephen Keshi could have actually stopped these players from revolting, from saying they are not going to train or practice, because he's the head. If he says Osaze and Yobo are, I'm assuming Osaze and Yobo are the ones in charge of this revolt, they are the one leading it, and Keshi says, okay, whoever joins them will be out of this thing. I think Keshi should have taken a stance, maybe say, okay, no one should take part in this. We all play this game, money or no money. Okay, let me have your opinion, Babatunde. What do you think? Do you think Keshi should have taken a more tougher stance based on the financial problem we had at the World Cup?
I think Keshi is a product of the Nigerian factor, if I can call it that. He's been a former player of the team, the national team captain. So he's been there. He knows how things plays out when it has to do with the financial aspect of the game and what is supposed to get to the players. So, and now coming as a coach now, there's that tendency that he wants to side with his players, but I don't think the blame is on Keshi really. I want to blame the football house for not putting their house in order as regards what should be accruing to the players and participating at the World Cup. All other countries have done that even before they got to the World Cup. You know what you are going to get, and those things you will get it. It's not a situation whereby, like we have seen in the Nigerian system, that they will promise the players certain things and they will not get them. So it is not, the World Cup is meant for us to go there and play football. We are not supposed to go there and start wrangling over money issues. So I want to blame the NFF more.
Okay, let's move on from that. Now, let's talk about a few transfers. Some Nigerian players that have moved. Macaulay Christantus, Julius. Macaulay Christantus is a player that had so much promise in the 2007 Under-17 World Cup. He was the highest goal scorer at the tournament. He was the silver ball winner. Tony Cruz, who won the Golden Ball, just won the World Cup a few days ago. And Macaulay went to Hamburg. We heard he was in the youth team. From there, he was just moving in nomadic lifestyle all over Europe. Now he's at Sivasspor. Do you think, what exactly is the problem with Nigerian young players that had become superstars at tournaments, and just after the tournament, they just fizzle out?
To be honest, I think so many factors will be considered for them not really attaining the height they should. And one of those factors is when you call this underage player thing. Most of, I'm not saying he has not declared his real age, but I feel the fact that some of these players don't really declare what their age is affects. Now, when you play that underage tournament, like every other country, you are expected to develop to the senior team above the rank you play, and then move ahead. But you find out that in our own situation, when they play in the under-16, you never hear of this player again. You don't even hear them in the under-20 sometimes. So they don't really develop. And then when you now go to a club in Europe, the club takes you in as an under-17 player. So they will expect you will develop. And to be honest, some of these players have gotten to their peak sometime when they play this tournament. So when you now put them in a club where they are supposed to develop, they start depreciating. And then the people be asking themselves, this guy is not developing. You mentioned Tony Cruz, yeah? He has developed, and he played in the World Cup. So to be honest, the team that played under the late Coach Taylor, that won in the under-17. Yeah. They should be in the Super Eagles for the World Cup.
Yes, it's 7 years after.
Yes,
they should be the ones.
But is there any one of them there? So I think the factor for me is the age thing. If we really are going to be sincere with ourselves, because I don't see no reason why you play in the under-16, you don't get to the under-20, you don't get to the under-23, even making the Super Eagles. And that's a fundamental problem. Why we don't, have capable players to play in tournaments like the World Cup. I know we won in Dubai, and I am saying that in another 3 years or 4 years, bulk of the Super Eagles player should be the players that play in Dubai that won the tournament. But that's just the factor that I think will be hindering these players from developing to really become what they should be. The age factor for me is. But if he has gotten another club somewhere,
he's assigned for Sivasspor now.
Perhaps if he can still, get his act together, maybe we'll start seeing him.
Probably we'll start seeing the best of Macaulay Christantus. All right, on that note, I will go for a break and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back from the break. Still Big League Soccer, favorite football show on YouTube. Now we're moving away from the home front and we're moving to the international front to look at a few stories that have developed in the past few days, and also transfer stories, and also a few football games that were played. A few days, yesterday, Chelsea played a friendly in Austria. They played a 1-0 draw. It's a warm-up game. We don't have to read too much into this game. So Chelsea playing 1-0 draw with an Austrian team. It's a warm-up game.
It's allowed.
It's allowed for now.
It's allowed.
Well, do we say LA Galaxy new Manchester United 7 is also allowed?
Of course, it's allowed. It's a friendly game.
So just dress your yourself.
After I think Chelsea won their first game like 8 something. The first game they play, yeah.
To be friendly.
Yep.
All right, okay. That's for the few games I've played. Let's now take a look at players in and out of clubs. Barcelona have signed a defender. Finally, the last show we did, we were talking about Barcelona signing Luis Suarez and not going for a defender. Barcelona have finally signed a defender now. He's Jeremy Matthew, 30 years old, a Valencia player. About today, do you think this Valencia player will be good enough for that Barcelona defense to replace Carlos Puyol of all people?
I don't think Barcelona signing any player, especially on the defense line, is aimed at replacing anybody per se. It's just to shore up the area that has been lacking over the years. And
but the player is 30 years old.
Defenders are more older. Defenders tend to be more older, and they are older in the game.
They don't do too much running.
They don't do too much running. And besides, Barcelona for me is not a team that is built on defensive play. They are built to attack, and that's why their signings are more concerned about signing midfielders and attackers who can hold the ball and they can do their tiki-taka and keep possession away from the opposition and do damage. So the defense line is not really the attraction for me.
All right. Okay, Julius, let's move on to the Emirates now. That's Arsenal. It was reported in the news that Arsenal are in talks with Ike Casillas. They are telling him to tear up his contract at Real Madrid and declare he wants to go. So Arsenal can pay him a particular amount, so he will come on a free. But Arsenal are also in line to sign the Mexican goalkeeper, David Ospina. So do you think this will be a good deal? Arsenal trying to bring in Casillas, also Ospina coming in for about £3 million. So Arsenal's clash of goalkeepers here.
There's always a problem when it comes to Arsenal signing a player. And the problem is this. As long as it does not appear on the Arsenal's website, to me, it's still rumor. And
well, the Casillas one is still rumor.
Exactly.
They have not signed him, and they are just, it's just
we had it.
But Ospina is close to being declared.
Yes, but the other goalkeeper, what do you call his name? Ospina. It's an ideal signing for Arsenal. He's young, he's ambitious. I think that will keep Chesney on his toes. Bringing in Casillas, for me, is just telling Chesney, just go ahead. There's no pressure on you. Whenever you don't, we might do what they do in Real Madrid. And this is what they did in Real Madrid. They told Casillas, hello, you will be keeping the Champions League, okay? Don't worry about the league. Maybe Wenger have the similar arrangements. I say, Casillas, take it easy. Maybe the Carling Cup, the FA Cup you keep, but this one will go for the league. But I don't. For me, it's not an exciting news that I want to get Casillas, but it will be exciting for me to get David, Ospina, if he comes. That will give, there will be contest for the #1 shirt, the post. And you know what that does to the goalkeeper? He doesn't want to drop the shirt. It's on his guard. You understand? So I would prefer Arsenal pushing for Ospina, not Casillas. I think he can just retire at Madrid and become a coach or something there.
Contract expired, he's gone. He's finally has decided to join MLS side New York City FC. About today, Frank Lampard could have stayed in the Premier League. He decided to leave the EPL. He has gone to America, maybe for the money. We can't really say, but do you think Chelsea will really miss now?
I don't think Chelsea will miss him. I think, like his name, frankly, he has paid his due at Chelsea. One of the highest scoring midfielders in England. And he has paid his due. And again, age is no longer on his side. And if you check the signings Mourinho is doing of recent, is like he's going to revitalize the midfield. You need young blood. And if also you look at the England at the World Cup, Frank Lampard wasn't commanding a regular shirts. So by doing that, it's just best for him personally to move to the MLS. He will make more money, he will play football at his pace, and he will enjoy the game rather than just sitting on the bench like Mikel is doing at Chelsea.
All right, okay. So it means that's a good deal. Chelsea have signed enough replacements, so they are really not going to miss Frank Lampard. I think they will miss him.
But I think But I think they'll miss Frank Lampard.
In what area?
Because he brings another dimension to football, particularly in Chelsea. I've seen games where the striker find it was their odd day, and from nowhere the Blues, Frank Lampard will just bring, and he does play freak. Yes, they will miss him. Like you've said, he's been there for long. And I think maybe because of his loyalty to Chelsea, that's why he doesn't want to go to another EPL, because some EPL clubs we should have signed Lampard if he want to go. But I think for his loyalty for Chelsea, he rather move out of England. And except the way we can now say they won't miss him is when the season kicked off and the players that were brought in, it shows, a little bit, and then nobody is saying if Frank was there, so maybe we'll wait and see what the new player, bring into Chelsea. And for me, it's a sad news in the sense that, when Lampard is leaving, I was thinking people like Mikel Obi, the Nigerian player, my Nigerian countryman, should walk into that role and play. But unfortunately, he should just command the shed. But right now, he's still going to end up in the bench. That's a concern for me as a Nigerian, anyway.
There is no assurance that Mikel will even be at Chelsea at the start of the season.
That's what I'm saying.
But he has said he's going to fight for a shirt at Chelsea.
Physical fight.
I wonder who will fight it.
All right, let's move away from Frank Lampard and talk about this Liverpool legend, Steven Gerrard. It was all over the news in the week. He has quit international football. Yeah. He wants to face Liverpool now. He knows that what he enjoyed last season, he won't enjoy it, because last season they will play one game in a week and he will rest for the next 5-6 days. But this week and this season, he'll be playing on Sunday. He will play midweek game
on Thursday.
Another game on
play Carling Cup on Tuesdays.
He feels this might probably have effect on his body, but he has finally retired and he was a good servant for England, but he didn't really get it right at the international scene. So, but generally, Julius, Frank Lampard, Steven Gerrard as an England player, what exactly do you think he should have done better when he was with England?
Well, Frank Lampard, the way I view him, to the Liverpoolians, I think Steven Gerrard is a legend.
Yeah.
He has really contributed immensely to the development of that club. But he has not really showed the same when it comes to the national team. You ask what could he have done better? Perhaps I would say if he has the kind of player he plays with in Liverpool in the national team, perhaps he could have done better. Because you see,
the national team players are not good enough.
Well, I'm not saying that. You see, the thing is that when you play the club football, it's quite different when you play in the national team. You have a certain coach formation in the club, but when you get to the national team, it's all changed. Sometimes your role changes, so that could affect the way you perform. So Gerrard, for me, to the Liverpool, is a legend. To the England as a nation, he has not really showed the same class he showed when it comes to club football. And again, since he has quit the international scene, that's a good sign. That's a good decision, because like you've said, he's going to be involving in so many games. So this, yes, for the club. So it gives him time to recuperate, to be able to catch up with the demand he's going to be facing.
All right, okay. Finally, before we go, let's look at it. I want us to do a little bit of comparison between these La Liga clubs. I'm going to Spain now. In the La Liga, Barcelona, Real Madrid, and Atletico Madrid in the transfer market. Babatunde, Atletico Madrid won the league last season.
Yeah.
Now, they've not really done any much business in the transfer market. They brought in Mario Mandzukic. That's the only thing. And they've lost their left back, Felipe Luis, and also their top striker, Diego Costa. And Barcelona signed a striker, signed a defender. Real Madrid, we know, will still do more, and they've done, in fact, they've almost broke the bank. Now, Atletico Madrid, with the way they are going, do you really think they will be able to survive this new season in terms of being champions and at least playing enough to show that these were the champions we had last season, looking at the number of players they are losing?
I think Atletico Madrid, if we look at them last season, I mean they're a team, they're a bulk of a team that plays together, very compact. I mean they attack in mass, they defend in mass, and all of them are virtually very good on the ball. Fine, they had Luis Costa who was doing much of the scoring, but the team, even when he was injured, the team they were still able to play very well without a hand, you know. So I think Mandzukic is a very good addition if you want to add the forward. And looking at, they didn't change the staff, the coaching staff, they are still intact. So I just see them, they will continue from where they stopped last season. Whether they will be able to win the league is a different ball game. And comparing Real Madrid, I think it's a taboo if Madrid doesn't buy any big player out there in any season, and compare with Barcelona too. But I think Barcelona, will be the team to struggle in this coming season because they will be rebuilding, and while Real Madrid have just strengthened their squad ahead of the season.
On that note, I think we've come to the end of today's show. Thank you very much for joining us today. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and also leave your comments at the end of the page. Thank you for joining us this week. My name is Niyo Kwade, and on behalf of Babatunde Alao and Julius Ejagbasi, who have joined me to do justice to today's show, I wish you all the very best. Thank you for watching.